For this fight, Yozan showed up. Sunny's like basically twin. When Yozan gets his arm chopped, Sunny also looks pained about it, but it's not the same. He doesn't like go to grab his arm. He just looks like he's now under pressure. Yozan got his arm chopped because he tried to step out of the ring that is this spiral room that Saudades has everyone in. Saudades, being in the center of the room, is currently just posed with his arms outstretched after having delivered a diatribe about the end of the world and how he's going to bring it about, and so on and so forth. You know, the usual type of madman insanity that you would expect from a villain at this level. He is someone who stands at approximately, let's say, 6 foot even. His rubbery face and very obviously fake hair, just kind of unmoving, lifeless. His face kind of frozen in this smile with empty eyes and no teeth. Just a blackness beneath the very mask-like countenance visage of this thing. He seems to be awaiting some sort of reply or act of violence, but as he stands there, and the longer that he does, the more you can feel that there is a pull in the room, a sort of gravity, which is drawing things towards him. And within him, there is a yet deeper darkness, one that is highly, highly destructive. This is demonstrated as a pen rolls across the floor from his desk, one that had been kind of knocked free. It rolls along the floor in a spiral towards him, and then once it gets under him, just kind of begins to shatter, break, crumple, and then turn into a smear of plastic and ink along the ground. One that begins to then flow outward along the spiral, creating a sort of just very dark mark, like water almost. So materials begin to just go outward. You're in a spiraling room. That is one aspect of what you're dealing with. Who wants to be brave?
I'll bite him.
You're just gonna bite him?
Yeah, why not?
Go for
Or
it.
try to.
Yes, fine. You have +1 to your combat rolls. Go for a bite. I really, really recommend burning every single fate point you have when you have the opportunity to do so on this. He rolls a 5.
I would like to burn all of my fate points like you suggested.
Okay.
I will invoke Teeth, of course, because he's biting him. And his motto, which is, I like biting things, because he does. And I guess his drive, which is anger, because this guy talks too much and Towner's sick of it.
Okay, where do you bite him?
Like the shoulder, where like his shoulder meets his neck.
Okay. You inflict a heavy, heavy bite. Watch as your teeth sink into his flesh. There's no blood that comes out of him, by the way. Feels like biting into a mannequin. He just takes a hand, once you're close enough, and rests it on your own shoulder. You will have to roll defensively
Jesus.
against a 7. Oh, I'm sorry, an 8, actually. He rounds it up. Oh.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So here's what happens. As he puts his hand on your shoulder, you can feel his fingers sink in through the flesh, and you watch as the teeth marks that you just left in him are like just go through his arm and then through his fingertips and into your own flesh. He spends 1 fate point to transfer his consequence to you. You have a wounded shoulder and the same kind of spread as your own teeth, and then he pushes down on the bone once the meat is like kind of mauled and dislocates your shoulder. So you have 2 consequences on you now. Like he transferred 1 for a fate point, and then he dislocated your shoulder. He still has the physical stress that you laid on him, but he does not have that consequence anymore. For a fate point, let's say Towner rips, or you could rip like a big chunk of him off if you want. You take the compel,
okay.
basically. You get a fate point back. You tear a piece of him off, kind of, even though the wound was transferred. You managed to like get a chunk of him off, but now he is bleeding out this like kind of like void, this vacuum within him. You get your fate point back, but he is a little bit dangerous now. You can also, by the way, you heal that mild consequence that you just got because you accepted a compel.
Yay.
Because of your teeth passive. So you get 1 fate point back.
Nice.
Your bite wounds like heal immediately because you cause that wound or are going into a shark frenzy, And yeah, so it's rough, but you're still okay. He's going to take an action after the next person's that you choose turn. Who do you pass initiative to?
Let me ask the group. You just watched Towner get his shoulder dislocated. Who would come to his rescue, or who would be most likely?
Probably Enya.
All right, and yet it is.
And you see a teammate take a very serious amount of damage, and Towner is no fucking wilting flower. Dislocating those bones, it's like arm wrestling in with a rhino or an elephant or something. Like he's a hardy boy.
She's gonna rush in to, shortly after they've disengaged. They're still attached, actually, right?
No, I'll say the Towner probably disengaged once he took that chunk out.
Yeah, she's just gonna rush in with her shoulder. She's gonna transform and just check this guy as hard as she can.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a breakthrough roll. The 5. He is going to correct that to a 4. And then correct his own to a 4. He just lowers your attack and then meets it with his own not damaged shoulder and seems to be just matching you in a way. He reduced your momentum and then increased his own. It almost looked for a second he was being drawn towards you with his arm up, so that his elbow crashed into your shoulder. In addition to your action, you can compel him to do something. He is monomaniacal, which means that he is very focused on this whole spiral business and running Dorobo Corporation as he sees fit. Do you want an idea of how you can compel him in a
Yeah,
fight?
you know what? She's gonna try to taunt him. She's gonna look confused at why her momentum was stopped. But she's gonna look at him and say, "We saw your files. It's in your interest to get rid of us like you say. But you might want to do it quickly because it's all getting out."
You see him for a moment crunch the numbers in his head. His head quickly looks back and forth, up and down, left to right, and then finally he looks back at you. You're right. Your Uzik could be used to transfer information that could be harmful to the Dorobo group. I will finish this quickly. The completion of the spiral is not necessary for handling low organisms. Slaves to Avicii. Scum from the bottom of nature's pond. You see him rear back a little and rocket his foot up towards your face, right through the guard, in a way that a human wouldn't be able to just straight kick up. He just his foot just sails right up.
Can I readjust to compel Claudia, actually? Because that secrets thing would make more sense for her.
It's fine to use on either one, basically. If you compel Claudia, she does get a fate point, an additional fate point over her limit, and then she would be compelled to use her Uzik or otherwise try to make sure that information does get out. So it's kind of up to you.
I'm gonna use it for Claudia and popcorn to her.
Okay. Well, he's still gonna do his kick.
That's fine. I'll get kicked in the face.
That is a 4. He spends... Oh, you have to roll defensive. What do you have? Roll suppress for this. Roll against 4. Okay. A 2. He is going to, as he kicks, you can see his foot spinning on the ankle in a way that wouldn't be possible with bones, so that it begins to form almost a drill with the tip of his sharp dress shoe. He invokes his spiral bound aspect, and he invokes the room aspect of it being a spiraling room to give himself a 4, in addition to the 4 that he... So he rolls an 8, and then you roll a 2. You can invoke your skull blood type if you want to get a +3 to your defense. So maybe one thing you want to do.
Yes, definitely.
Your 2 becomes a 5. Means you take 3 physical stress from the attack. And then it is your turn, Claudia.
She'll accept that compel, I think, to just take out her Uzik and just start live streaming this.
Go ahead and give me a Hawaii 5-0 roll against a passive difficulty of 4 to overcome. You have to be able to navigate using your Uzik and the spiral of the room and the action at the same time. Go for it though. 2. You can buff that if you'd like with an invoke. You did get a fate point from Enya for this reason.
Yeah, she will do that, and she will honestly. Secret Sniffer seems like the most appropriate one for this.
So here's the thing, you can start to record right now, but finding a signal is going to be very difficult because no matter how advanced your Zeeks are, there's a lot of signal jamming technology in this tower. So you can start right now recording, but actually getting an encrypted or secure line to send it over is going to take you a second. Right now, this is going to be a difficulty for you. So again, you're going to be compelled to at all costs maintain that you can record this so that you can send it as evidence. That's going to mean maybe like putting yourself in danger as well. But that is a compel that you can take if you'd like to get a fate point back right now.
Yeah, she'll definitely do it. Put
Okay.
herself in danger.
So here's how this is going to go now. Because Saudades is monomaniacal, because Claudia is going to focus on trying to record this evidence, and because like the room is what it is, he is compelled now to destroy Claudia at all costs, or at least destroy that Uzik. You can tell he whips his head towards the phone as it starts to record. He can hear it. He even tilts his head when he hears the recording sound, whatever sound effect, the click or the ring, and then kind of just points one finger at Claudia, almost like he's calling out where he's going to hit a home run. He is going to dedicate himself to destroying that phone. Let's see if he can do anything about it. With a 4. He is going to pump that with 2 fate points to turn it into an 8. Claudia, he is attempting to destroy your phone. So you can see him, basically as he points to you, you can see him twist his body, move past Enya and Towner, who are in the way, as he kind of like uses them almost like foot grips, pushes off of them, and then darts towards you with one finger that keeps stretching outwards until it becomes a point, as he is attempting to just pierce right through your phone with his finger. Like a living dart, he is trying to just destroy your phone. He's doing it with an 8. You can roll against this with... For this, I'm going to let you use Gaze as your defensive roll. So go ahead. Not only do I want to give you the best odds, but I also... I also want you to... no, it's fine. You can re-roll that if you want.
There's 2 chances to... okay.
Ooh! You have 2 fate points. You could keep him from even touching your phone if you spend them both. You will absolutely deny him. Although, yeah, no, you can. Because even if he rolls that down to a 4, you would 2 fate points would still put you at an 8, put you at a tie. Means he will not be able to overcome and destroy your phone.
She will do that.
Okay, what are you compelling? No one can escape. No one can escape the law forever. Is a perfect one.
Yes. And
I got a perfect one for you actually. I just thought of it. As he's coming towards you, and you're like working to like protect your phone and make it like transmit. Maybe your wallpaper on your phone is like your kids, and you gotta give them a world to live in, and a world like that doesn't include something like this. Not even somebody.
yeah, that makes sense.
The reason it's your gaze roll is because you can tell the reason he was able to dart between those two is because like he's in a weird blind spot for them. He just kind of like bypassed them momentarily and was trying to just work his way towards you, and you can see it in the reflexes of your teammates. Like they haven't even noticed that he slipped by them by the time he's already about to make contact with you. However, your reflexes and your perception, you're able to read that he is still moving along that spiral. That's why you can see him coming. Like he's still on that course. Like he curves just slightly enough where he is coming towards you. How do you keep him from destroying the phone? You just like snatch it out of the way? Do you...
I kind of imagine right as seems like he's about to do it, she kind of like reflexively puts a hand up and kind of catches the finger right before it gets right to her phone.
You put a hand up? Okay. If you put a hand in between the finger and the phone, you're going to feel that finger go right through the hand. Not enough to cause you a consequence or any damage, but like it pierces right through like it was almost butter, and then kind of pulls out quickly as he darts past you into in the room, like, and lands behind you. It's damage that you can actually regenerate very quickly because it wasn't really intended to, cause you a ton of like wound. It was meant instead to destroy your phone, and he missed his target. So as your hand is mending, he just lands on the other side quietly, kind of looks over his shoulder at all of you like a dog who has made a mess and is hiding from the owners. He just has this very weird look on his face, still smiling, peeking over his own shoulder at all of you. That is his current position right now. He's past Claudia and the rest of your group and just looking back at you with a mischievous smile almost, but very fake, very empty. Who do you pass your initiative to, Claudia?
I'm gonna pass it to Mikey.
All right, Mikey, you've already determined that this room is spiraling, and you know from your prior encounters with the theoretical hybrids that he is using the spiral to his advantage. It's why he's so good and why he's doing what he can do right now. It seems beyond supernatural, almost like it's a force of nature that he is just channeling. You can take many different types. You could try to disrupt the spiral in this room if you want through various means. You could try to just like land a shot on him.
Yeah, knowing that I know the room is spinning and that he's utilizing it to, spin to win, I can find a way to either stop the spinning or get him off the spin so that we can kind of open him up. Mikey wouldn't know spin in the same way that I know spin.
Right.
So he wouldn't necessarily know how it works, but he does know that there is a connection and that connection needs to be severed.
Well, actually, you rolled a high enough gaze before, I think, on that fight. You can tell the spin, sort of the way the room was set up in this room, is in a familiar art kind of detail, I would say. The golden ratio. It's a common thing in science and in art. You can tell that the first setup was like that. You don't even need to roll again to tell that the second room is also set up in a similar way. But the golden ratio is like part of this construction of the room itself and of the movements that he is doing. You're not quite at a spin master level where you can actually do anything with that, but you can recognize it as a living being who is like in touch with kind of the primordial life force that is being a descendant of the Pillar Men.
If that's the case, then I don't want to necessarily go after him because I've seen what he can do to my stronger friends. But the room isn't going to fight back if I start going to town on it.
It's true. You could do damage to it.
Yeah, I'd like to start busting up the room so that it is not within the golden ratio anymore.
How does Mikey cause property damage?
He does have his like mucusy like slime, snail stuff, and it would be a complete asshole for me to be like, well, now it's an acid and I can melt stuff. Don't question it.
Fuck it. Do it.
But
Just do
I mean,
it.
yeah, I mean, I guess that could be something he does. Or I was gonna say, because it's another anime reference, just full on like Luffy rubber limb, like pulling his arm back and like snapping it to like just punch holes and stuff. Just he's a little rubbery snail boy. Like, why can't he just like whip himself around and just because I mean he'll regenerate faster than he can probably hurt himself.
Why not combine both of them? Just have him cover his hands in his digestive goop and just start painting the room with it with his weird arms or some shit.
Yeah.
It's horrible, but I mean,
barf on your hands.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mikey will like turn into like he'll shift into his actual like merman form, and you just see that he's just from like the wrist down, he's got the sweatiest palms, and you can hear as it hits the ground, this like, and it's just like it's burning the floor, and he just kind of looks at Tanner and just goes, "We need to break this room up real bad. Understand?" And as he says understand, he pulls his arm back and it pulls out farther than a human arm should, and there's no like popping, there's no dislocating sounds, it just keeps going, and then eventually he just like picks a corner that he would know to be part of the ratio and just starts immediately just kind of throwing his limbs at it just to break it up.
As someone who wasn't here last time, can you describe what the room is like?
It's like a
other
giant,
than spirally.
Yeah, giant black chamber, kind of hardwood floors that are cut into curves that are like a subtle spiral. Along with the roof, everything is like a black mineral kind of marble look with wood on the floor, dark wood on the floor. Kind of a big dark tinted backdrop behind the desk where this guy was sitting. It looks like a tomb almost, or just some kind of like mausoleum chamber. It's otherwise like probably just filled with maybe like a statue of a dude who is just like spiral, like his body is being broken into a spiral. Maybe like a painting where it's like a classical, almost Whistler's Mother type, where the face is just spiraling over, things like that, tilted at precisely the wrong angle to make people uncomfortable. It's a very like lifeless kind of area. So in that case, give me a what do you got?
I mean, I feel like at this point it's a slick roll. That's kind of
slick roll is fine. I'm just looking at your stunts to see if there's anything you can this is kind of like a traveling thing, I'm gonna say. Yeah, you need to be able to understand the space like well to be able to do damage here. So you can invoke to reveal an additional scene aspect, and you can invoke that once for free. So basically, you create a new aspect, and then you get an invoke of that when you invoke. So it gives you a free +2 to whatever it is you're doing, and then you have a free +2 to use subsequently when you invoke that. So if you invoke your scout, what is an additional aspect that you reveal about the room once you start to like do this acid wash kind of carving, fucking up the design of it? What's like an additional aspect do you feel that you could add or reveal about it? Need ideas? I can shoot them.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying to think because
I have a very easy one.
the room already has spiral, right? Or
Yeah,
yeah.
here's
'Cause
an
I'm
easy one. Behind the walls, in the floorboards, in the ceiling, there are a lot of wiring. There's a lot of wiring and kind of
yeah, because
machinery
it's a
behind the
giant
walls.
giant floating upside down pyramid. Yeah, we can do like exposed wires or like exposed computation parts or whatever works.
And these aren't just the wires for the tower itself. Saudades, if you've seen his sheet, you'll see that he requires to do these things an increased amount of
Requires
computational
power.
power.
Yes.
And they are all in this chamber that he is currently in. So when you expose the circuitry and kind of damage the spiral, well, first of all, give me a roll for it. We'll see how you do. How much damage you do. This is against a passive opposition of 2. Because he is monomaniacally focused on Claudia, he isn't really going to put up a whole lot of opposition when you're doing this. He needs to take care of Claudia first.
Yeah. Was this slick or extract?
Give me a slick. The 3. So you pass. You can buff that further if you want to cause like more damage. So like he goes to try to readjust your 3 to a 2, but then you invoke your scout so that you can perfectly understand the space. You're able to dodge and weave between. It looks like he's throwing office supplies at you, just chucking them and hurling them. So as you're running around trying to do damage, he is throwing like letter openers, staplers, and they are embedding into the wall right behind you as you are traveling. But he can't focus entirely on hitting you, so you're able to expose the wiring and the computer, the server technology, like wafers that exist behind the walls. That is a free invoke, I believe, not just for you, but for anyone. Let's see, hold on.
Yeah, it should
Yes.
be.
All scene aspects can be invoked once for free. And the stun is actually worded so that you can actually invoke any scene aspect for free once.
Okay, that's what I thought too.
Right. We'll just say that you just created a new scene aspect, and you haven't used your free invoke for any kind of scene aspect yet. I'm gonna have to really fucking bust your nuts about your fate point economy in that case, because that's actually really strong. But that's why I'm running this. Could you pass your initiative?
And I
too?
intend to use it because he's probably gonna hurt us.
Yeah, he already kind of has.
Yeah. Yeah. If that's the case, then as he's kind of whipping around, I will pass it to Blue because I don't think she's gone yet.
Blue, you can see that Saudades is currently trying to focus on chasing Claudia down. So he's currently like positioned himself. Claudia, you're gonna have to roll against a 6. He's trying to create a boost by getting like the right positioning on you to like deliver a killer blow. Not a direct attack yet, but you're gonna have to try to outmaneuver him as he's like chasing you through this chamber. Go ahead and give me a rockin' and rollin'. He rounds that down to a 2. He succeeds with style, which means he has a +3 to his next attack against you, but he's not taking it yet. He had to maneuver himself through your friends and around some of the opposition here to try and get a hit on you. He is going to, unless Blue can stop him or do something to impose some kind of obstacle against him, he's going to be trying to go for a real coup de grace against you on his next turn, to be after Blue acts. Blue, you see this figure kind of weaving around and then positioning perfectly to strike down on Claudia. You have a split second before you can stop, or where you can stop him at. What is it that you'd like to do here?
Okay, so he does not have eyeballs?
He doesn't have eyeballs.
But it's clear he can see things somehow, right?
Yeah, he's a supernatural entity. It's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
Are you asking if you can blind him?
Well, I know I always use that, but I feel like if I could, that might be actually helpful. But maybe I should just go ahead and impale.
Your blind isn't just for flashing lights. It's also for hiding the truth from someone or making it so that they have difficulty perceiving. For example, with your sharp teeth, seeing Claudia's music and kind of sleight of hand shenanigans, if you motioned like somebody threw something to you, you could try to convince him that you're currently holding the music and that it's been tossed. That's entirely possible. You could basically try to run a game on him like this, where he may think that you have the phone. Yeah, you could do that. You can make a light in your hand so that it looks like you're holding a phone, or that you're recording him.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll do that.
This isn't going to be a blind roll, though. This is going to be a gamble roll. But your survival is at stake, so you get your +3 from your new offenses. Stunt.
Shall I roll a gamble?
Yeah, roll gamble.
Oh no.
You can re-roll that. I recommend that you do.
Yeah.
With a fate invoke.
I guess I'll invoke my drive, survival at most cost.
So a 5 rounded down to a 4. You have the ability to coordinate as well, though. You can compel. You can just say like that you compel Saudades' monomaniacal nature by waving the cell phone at him because you know he's so fixated on it, knowing that it's going to put you in danger. You're putting your life on the line and gambling by waving this phone at him like you have it. That would compel him to give him a fate point back, but he would absolutely turn towards you. That is your coordinator feature to compel someone as part of your action as well. He receives a fate point and turns towards you then. When you see, so you just mimic the light in your hand, basically? Like you also have a phone, or like the phone was thrown to you?
Yeah.
He stops mid-strike on Claudia, and then his head snaps full 180 degrees around to look at you. And you can see that his smile on his face, just for a moment, pushes outwards, twists and turns upside down, and then slams back into his face to turn it into a frown. And then he just like slams the ground with his fist and tumbles over and then starts stretching his arms out towards you and your phone in particular, while howling. Very horrible. It sounds like the wind blowing through a canyon. As he like tries to reach towards you with these like long fingers, these latexy white fingers. He's going to try to snatch at you. That is a 4. He's going to use his boost, so he was in a good position against Claudia. Instead, now he's using that sort of against you, according to the tenets of the spiral. He is going to further boost that with all of his fate points. Turn that 4 into a 12, as he is trying to grab at the phone and at you. Give me a hard boiled roll. You still have 2 fate points left.
Yeah, I do.
That is a 0 because of his stunt. You can use your 2 fate points to chip 4 damage off of that attack if you want, or you can just let it ride and take 12 shifts of damage. But that is actually, that would take you out, so you may want to actually invoke at least one thing so you're not taken out. You need to maintain control of the situation.
Yeah,
you're kind of doing it, so
okay.
I'll give you a compel right now. You get a fate point back. This is your idea of maintaining control of the situation. If he impales you with those fingers and you can hold him there, that is going to control him enough so that your team will have an advantage on him now. So basically, you're going to have to agree to get impaled and grabbed so that they can just get a firm idea of like how and where to hit him. You will take a severe consequence, and you'll mark off your 5 shift on your body stress thing, but he will be considered to be held there for a moment. You get a fate point back. Next person you call out is someone who hopefully will have an advantage on how to fuck him up real bad, but he is going to be held there as he tries to like stab through you with his... No, he's out of fate points. He can't transfer stuff anymore until he gets more. That's his stunt. He has to pay a fate point to be able to do that. So right now, he has your friend Blue. He has her like stabbed through with these very long fingers. Now that they're like through Blue's torso and like probably one through the neck and you know, shit like that, like they're about 4 feet long. They have very long nails and they are like curling at the end. almost as if they're trying to form in the spirals. He has your friend Blue like stab through like this. Blue has been impaled, kind of the opposite of best desserts for a predator like a lanternfish or a viperfish, I should say. Who do you pass your initiative to, Blue? Who do you call out to like take advantage of this?
Well, I guess I didn't technically use blind, but also, I mean...
Oh, for your squad stunt?
Yeah.
I'll allow it, whatever. You did kind of like, yeah, you wanted to, and like, you use some of the same mechanics. I'll just allow it. I'll allow Icepeak if you want to have your squad stunt be used like this.
Yep, Icepeak.
I think my character was last just closing up Yozan's wound. So she turns very calmly and looks at her friend being impaled and then at the strange man and says, "I wonder what's inside you." And then just like throws a bunch of her lamprey at him, hoping to figure out what this shadow stuff is made out of.
So here's the thing. He has a sort of consequence, although it's not like on his sheet. Earlier, Towner tore out a chunk of him that's got a vacuum on his shoulder, so you can just funnel your eels right into that.
I do, yeah.
Okay, and also you get a +2 to that because of that.
Ooh.
Like, it's just easier for you to get those eels in. You were going to want to buff this to high heaven.
I think I'm just gonna have to boost it using fate points plus. Ooh.
So he rolls a 2 on his durability. So if you boost it, you'll do 12 shifts of damage to him with this.
Oof. Yeah, because I've got the +2 from counter. Yeah. I am an orthodox eccentric doctor. I want to know what this and a mortician. I want to know what this and a brainy swarm. I want to know what this thing is made of.
So you deep dive into the body of Saudades, who is currently like kind of pinning Blue. He just throws his head back and howls again as the eels travel into his shoulder wound. He seems very distressed by this, very suddenly and rapidly, that he's being flooded with eels. Those eels travel into a spiraling vacuum void, which seems larger on the inside than it is on the outside. And the things that you see within it are strange. This space is almost theoretical within the demon. There is what looks like a family photo in a frame of the same looking person, Saudades, with their family. Just kind of, it looks like 2 kids, wife. That's all that's in there.
Really?
What would you like to do with this picture?
Can I make a chain and like pull it out? One suckers to the glass and then like I just pull it out like I just was fishing inside of him.
Then you pull it out of his body. Once you do, the entire latex form of him collapses. His fingers just retract out of Blue, and there's no life left in his form. He actually was taken out by that. 12 shifts is enough to take him out.
Does he like deflate or turn into goop or
he just crumples.
So I'm just standing there holding a picture of his family?
A picture of his family, yes.
Oh.
What would you like to do with the picture of his family? Because that deflated shell of him is just kind of flopping its arm towards you, trying to grab at it, but it can't even lift like more than an inch off of the ground.
I look at him with like pity, and I ask, "Can these people even live in a spiral world?"
He tries to talk, but it just sounds like it's just not, no air can be pushed sufficiently through the mouth to make a sound. You can melt it if you want, sure.
Well, she's trying to bag it, so if anyone else wants to.
That should totally be evidence, though.
Yeah.
I feel like we need a samurai sword, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, to destroy it?
Yeah.
I don't know about a samurai sword. You can just destroy it any way you want.
Icepeak is still trying to bag it. Does anyone want to destroy it? She won't stop you.
He's pretty obviously crumpled, right?
How do you crumple this man?
Yeah, she's just like on top of him. But she's looking at Icepeak. What do you have there?
It seems to be a picture of his family, which I did not know he could have.
There is someone else in the picture. It looks like their face is a little darkened. Looks like they're off to the side in the background. Family friend. Give me a gaze roll. Passive difficulty 5.
Nope. Mikey, do you want to look at this haunted picture?
I mean, I don't, but I do.
Mikey, do you want to look at the haunted picture?
When you phrase it as haunted picture.
Won't be your first rodeo.
Mikey, do
Yeah,
you
it
wish
won't be
to
the
look
first
at
time
this
I've looked at something that
haunted
has
picture?
looked back at me. Yeah, if it's evidence, Mikey needs to, bag it and tag it, so he'll probably look at it. He'll stop destroying the room, shake his hands free of the acid, put it in. But yeah, I'll take a look at it. I'll roll my gaze.
Okay, you actually match perfectly the role. You see a man, youngish, not too young. I'll say it's someone in his. It looks like at the time of his 30s, but this also is. It looks like an older picture of Saudades. So who knows how long ago this was taken? He's wearing a military uniform. It looks like Seven Nation, or rather, it looks like a modified version of the Seven Nation Army uniform. You would recognize this in your experience as being sort of military dress, like more regalia of the Valentine clan. Whoever this figure is in the background is a member of the Valentine clan and a high-ranking member at that. He looks like he is smiling to somebody else who they're grabbing his arm, they're touching his arm from out of frame. It looks like a woman's hand. And it looks like he's just kind of having the time of his life. It's a very warm kind of expression on his face. Whoever he's looking at, he regards well. You, if you wanted, could sketch this person's face or pick them out of a lineup. That's how much you can see them and recognize them. You just don't know who it is.
Okay, yeah, the photo goes in.
No, it is not Bloody Valentine.
I was gonna say, yeah, the photo goes into the evidence baggie and it gets zipped up.
Give me another gaze roll. I'll say you can see something goes through the frame once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times, and it falls to pieces. The entire picture frame. It's like it would just got cut as quickly as you have just went to put it in your bag. And not only that, the part of the picture where there's that face has gone missing.
So we can't I wanted to unfold the photo. Oh no, okay.
Nope.
Does this mean
they just cut out that head.
Saudade fallen apart?
Saudades is not moving, and that wasn't him.
I guess, can I make a third gaze roll to see if I see who it is, since I would know the room well enough to know if somebody's there that shouldn't be?
Yeah, go ahead.
That is part of my bloodline, is I can see invisible.
Okay. Wow. You not only see, okay, so you see something. You see a thin black figure with wings behind Sunny and Yozan, who are together. And that thin black figure just gently hands down the square of photo to Sunny, who looks at it and then rolls it into crumpled nothingness, where it just disintegrates into pieces. Sunny is not looking at you, though, and neither is Yozan. They're just huddled together. You can try to act against him if you want, or you can play it cool. That's up to you. No compels on this.
Yeah, I think Mikey's gonna play it cool. He doesn't know what he saw, because we've never seen either of them do that before.
We kind of have. We have gotten hints, yeah.
Yeah, I guess, a little, but not. Yeah, I haven't seen the full thing before.
No.
Yeah, he'll probably play it cool. If there's anything left of the frame and stuff, he'll still try and put it into evidence.
Yeah, I mean it's been sliced into pieces, but you can still put it together under a microscope.
Yeah, he's picking the pieces up and just goes, nothing some tape won't fix, as he's putting the pieces.
As you're going to put together the pieces, you studied the room quite extensively in order to use your stunt several times. You notice the room is approximately 3 inches shorter. The spiral is bisected in such a way it looks like a gap, and then the two parts of the room are just pushed together or something. There's 3 inches missing from this room.
I guess noticing that, Mikey will turn to Sunny and go, is everything okay in here? Do you know if anybody else could have gotten up here?
Sunny puts a hand on Yozan's shoulder and then stands up. Nobody here but us.
I don't think that's true.
You can rest assured, the only other person here you just killed. Well, all of you did. Good job. Now I'm going to need a favor. Well, two, actually. The transfer of the ownership of the Dorobo group to me, and I will need you to forget that file that you saw about the Black Swan, and while I'm at it, the All-Star.
You are asking a lot.
It's true. And if you wanted, you could probably transfer those files right now to anybody. I wouldn't be able to track it. The computers in this room have been damaged. Good work on that. And I don't really have the technical know-how to be able to stop you. But it would jeopardize what I want to do with this company significantly if that information was to be released to the public or any kind of government. The other files, feel free. In fact, the world would greatly benefit from any research that the Dorobo Group is holding about Santana cells, something I am more than willing to share, if you agree to these terms. If you care for humanity at all, I would suggest cooperating.
You have intentions with this clearly evil company. What are they?
In time, I hope to lift the curse from Japan, that is, one that was born on the moon itself, and eventually better this world so that we aren't so reliant on the whims of gods and figures like Avicii. Give humanity back some of its independence. That should be the aim of a corporation like this. And of course, to develop more safety protocols and measures so that people around the world aren't necessarily beholden to the whims of natural disasters like the terrible tsunami from 25 years ago, or really any of the earthquakes that have occurred since, the rising of ancient islands and formations here and there. There's all sorts of little variables that need to be controlled and accounted for. Dorobo Group has some of the technology to help hedge humanity's bets. But if you release that information, if you compromise my ability to do any kind of work like that, I'm afraid that, well, my hands will be tied.
If I'm catching what you're saying correctly here, you want us to report what exactly?
You report Dorobo Group's obsession with the theoretical hybrids. I don't think anyone's ever going to believe about anything about going into the void, but Santana cells in particular, and any of their biological work, the public maybe should know that that was happening, and it will be quite harmful, of course, to our public relations.
Here's the
once
thing.
I'm in control. Yes?
Isn't it technically stopped now? Now that, well, Saudades gone?
That's true. You could destroy the Dorobo Group right now if you wanted. Just bring this tower down. There goes all the research. Lost to sea.
They wanted to destroy all of humanity in time, so I don't see why this tower should continue to be here.
It's a tool for good, or at least it could be in the right hands. It'd be
Are
a
you
shame.
the right hands?
I think I am. Or should I say, I think we are. Well, he kind of looks down at Yozan's missing arm. Or missing forearm. Yeah, we're down one. We'll get you another one, buddy.
Speaking as transparently as I can here, we're not exactly in clear territory with what we just did right now. We don't really have a higher authority to report something like this to. Seven Nation, they're probably, I don't know. I can't think. What do you guys think? She's looking around the room.
I mean, we came here to give them back control of the company so that it wouldn't fall into someone worse's hands. And I mean, after dealing with that, and he kind of looks down at the weird deflated body of Sade and just, I mean, I feel like I know these two, well, at least Sunny better to run things. I may not like the conditions of giving everything over to him, but I mean, what are we going to do with a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate flying fortress?
It's true.
Become your secretary.
I already feel like I have so much on my plate.
I have requirements for this to happen.
Speak, then. What are they?
I wish to have access to some of your resources.
Oh, yeah, sure, we can arrange that. Negotiations will be required. I can't just have you running all through everything. And of course, if we have any other brains that are recovered, we'll be needing to catalog those and give them a proper containment.
Speaking of, Mikey like waves to like interrupt. We need to put, Rihanna somewhere.
Ah,
I don't know if the police station will have literally anything inside of it that could handle her if she were to go on a hard enough rampage, but you do seem to have weird hybrid people who obviously have to grow up in something or somewhere.
it's true. We've got tanks.
Do you have one that you think might work?
Hey, didn't you use some of our robocuffs to apprehend that suspect?
Yeah, and they did work.
That's right.
But I mean, she's gonna get bigger. She's relatively small right now comparatively. But she did have a hard time getting into one of the tanks, which is what led to everything. But so I guess, yeah, I guess that'll work.
Sure. We have no problem containing suspects for you that are maybe above the normal criminal level that you're used to dealing with. In fact, we can even provide you with some technology to help you apprehend them whenever you should run into one again. Any of these crowns, I believe they're called, are themselves threats about at the level of an invading army if they're not checked, in which case we're kind of the best hope for taking care of them. I can promise you, of course, that I have no interest in maintaining or continuing the hybrid theory that these people were pursuing, creating a theoretical merman samurai joint being isn't exactly something that I'm interested in. Well, if I were to be in control of the Dorobo group. So, in other words, you could trust us and we could trust you.
And there would be transparency.
He kind of like waves his hand in the air. Ish. I'll have to be honest with you. This is a very shady organization that we're in right now. I mean, let's face it. You saw the files. They were involved in some really bad stuff. Transparency in this case is on a sort of case by case basis, I think. You'll have to
So you
trust that my
intend to
discretion.
continue?
No, not all of it, no. Expeditions into the void might be quite useful. And of course, Santana cell research benefits humanity. And anything you saw in there about an all-star or a black swan, don't worry about those. I mean it.
I do worry about it eating you.
Ah, you're speaking of demons.
She just looks down at the deflated man on the floor. It seems to be a problem.
By and large, for the human stand user, it is, but I am not necessarily 100% human anymore, unfortunately. I sometimes like to think of myself as being just Sonny Fortuna, but in reality, I am just as much machine as I am man. In which case, it seems that you won't have to worry so much about that. I would think.
You would think.
You could always test my level of control if you'd like.
Oh, although I think, how much experimentation would you allow me?
We can conduct an experiment right now.
Oh, how so?
As you say so, the O begins to stretch out.
Oh,
And the room just begins to expand until by the time you finish saying "oh," it is now approximately twice as wide as it was before.
oh. She looks around with curiosity, and this is your power?
Part of it. Not something I like to use, and honestly, it only works best when Yozan is nearby. It's pretty simple the way it works. I don't even mind telling you. He manifests a figure right next to himself. Again, that thin black winged figure appears, perched on a small knife that extends from its foot, like a ballet dancer, just stands there. This is Black Swan. It exchanges time for space and space for time. It's my stand. Well, our stand. Used to be just mine, but then, had a self-divorce.
Now you are married to your work.
Yes. Yozan and I understand, of course, that this is a very powerful ability. And of course, we have responsibility to those around us to make sure that it's used wisely, which is why we often split up. That way, we can just focus on our work, not on just the mere being powerful and fighting people wa-ta-ta kind of style. He does a few fake karate chops at the air. There's more to life than that sort of thing.
I think you would benefit from some training, but wouldn't everyone?
Who can say? The people who used to run this corporation thought it would be best if I would just be dead, so apparently they weren't too fond of this ability, or at least they didn't think that I would be acting wisely with it. Then again, I think they must have known. I would have stopped them. He looks down at Saudades' deflated form. What an idiot.
Was this a person before?
I think it was. At one point, the phenomena of demons, he kind of like walks over towards the deflated skin and then uses a pen to like lift it up. It's a strange one that I don't fully understand. The stand consumes the human user and then becomes an entirely new entity, what we call a demon. Sometimes they look like monsters, and sometimes they just look like this. Sometimes they don't even have bodies, so to speak. I heard of one that is just a missing poster. We were never able to track that down before it got out of some portion of the USSR, the former USSR. Russia? Prussia? Ukraine. The Red Kingdom. It doesn't matter.
What do we have as a guarantee that once you take over Dorobo and send us back to Guam, that you won't just have us put away?
Put away? What
We're
do you mean?
loose
Murder?
ends. Yes.
I wouldn't do that. Why would I do that?
Because we're loose ends. We saw everything that happened here. We know what's in all those files.
It just means you know what's at stake. It's, you know,
Yeah,
just
we're also
the world.
we're beneficial to him still. I mean, we got to the tank, and well, we also somehow caught Rihanna, and I mean, we did all this, and he kind of waves his arm around at all the like the wreckage in the
We're
room.
a detriment to him, and he doesn't like mermen.
It's true, I'm not fond of your species. You've caused a lot of damage to the world, and I've had to deal with quite a few of your kind that are less than cooperative. And it's true, you are a liability. One that would be very easy for me to deal with should I wish to do that. But I think at a certain point in life, I figured out it just doesn't make sense to go around cutting everyone in half who just happens to be in the way or is going to be an obstacle. I mean, there are people that do that sort of thing, but they don't usually tend to make, I don't know, things that last. I'm trying to make something that's going to last in this world, something that humanity can use as a sort of bunker or a safeguard, a wall against the sort of disasters that have been inflicting it for the past, well, over a century at this point. I can't do that if I just go around killing everyone and locking them away and silencing them constantly. I'd rather not in any case. Again, he kind of motions to Yazan. We could brute force a lot if we wanted. We have the ability to do so. We could have probably killed Saudades ourselves, honestly, if we had known. And it's true. Maybe we should have. But by having you here, by seeing what it means to dole out justice and what you guys all do when your life is on the line, the lives of those you love, what's kind of important. Not only that I see it, but that the world does. Setting a good example is kind of the point.
Two things. I think I can see some tit for tat. We're in alignment with the whole vision of dealing with crowns, if you can help us with that. Obviously, it's something that we would need help with, but Sonny, I don't know if I believe that you would have... Here, let me put it this way. What do you love?
He thinks on that for a moment. Waking up in the morning, mostly.
To a better humanity?
Just at all.
She's looking to the others. That's it? That's what compels you?
Yeah. As long as I wake up, I'll be able to do something, I think. Even if it's just lie there and read a book. Or maybe I'll even get up to make some toast or some coffee. I don't know. I mean, as long as I wake up, that means that I can have a day. And as long as I have a day, that means that I can do something with the day. So waking up is very important. In fact, it's kind of the most important thing a person can do is wake up in the morning. Or at all, at any point. Sleeping is important, sure, but waking up, that's where it all begins.
Okay. Well, can you agree to being a resource for us?
I mean, I'm not going to just do everything for free. Come on, guys. Oh, I guess I do owe you. Should you provide me with the, of course,
Tit for
ownership
tat.
of the company. Yeah, I understand. Look, of course, I will provide Dorobo's resources wherever I can, apply them to help you out wherever I can with your cases, and I'll make sure, or at least I'll do my level best, to ensure that Dorobo Group is not an obstacle or a threat or hazard to anyone in Guam or outside of it, if I can help that. Of course, we are involved in quite a few other areas that I will need to be addressing. International business interests, likely those that Saudades has already put into place that may be operating autonomously, which is very fun to deal with.
You must clean up your house.
Yes, indeed. I will have to focus on that, which means that I won't be able to devote all of Dorobo's resources towards you, but we'll
No,
say
I must
10%
clean
or
up my
something.
own house.
Ah,
Right.
I've heard rumors about that sort of thing. He kind of like folds his arm. Something about Nazis?
Any information you can provide would be appreciated.
There's probably one or two things we could let you know about.
I understand you have connections to the Seven Nation Army. Or at least he did.
The Valentine clan. Yes, we do. Is there something you needed regarding that?
Other than what you have hinted at me, I have a curse, so to say.
Can't say I know too much about any of that.
Odd, you dropped that line earlier. But I will use your lab at least.
As much as we can allow you to do that, of course. Pending all discussion and investigation and a review from the board. Oh, wait.
You
We
are
have
the
a
board.
board?
You have no employees that I am aware of, other than the bastard.
That, he looks at Yozan. Wait, we do have... Yozan just shakes his head. Sonny just looks back. We'll be hiring, of course. It will be a process, I'm sure.
I will put in my resume.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Just to show how unbiased I am
Yeah,
towards
expected mine
all
too.
of you. Oh, good. Yes, I welcome all from the land and the sea alike. I am not a racist. You know, he says that as if it's particularly dangerous, perhaps even a more dangerous thing than what he just faced. Accused of racism. He's kind of like, he seems sheepish for a moment.
I think we will need this. Vici will only get worse due to his health condition.
That is something that I will need to research as well. Apparently, if he is brainless or thoughtless, as I've now heard said, that we'll have to find out why that is, and also if there is a solution, because that is bad, very bad.
Right. In fact, I'm not even sure the police force is gonna believe us. I was hoping that if you did go to address that, you could use us for it.
Perhaps I could. I'll have to talk to my contacts within the Valentine clan to see if they've heard anything about any of this business. They do deal with the Daganites occasionally. They would know, I think, perhaps, maybe, I can't say.
I would be careful with them.
Oh, why is that?
They are not gentle with the population.
Okay, you're right. You're not wrong at all. I will be sure to handle it carefully.
You best, because I will be watching.
Of course.
Watching what? These people can just disappear off the map. They don't have to say anything. It'll just be loops forever, trying to chase anything.
It's true. We could just vanish right now. You just have to trust us. I mean, you don't have to trust us. You could just destroy this base, I guess.
You'd have to disconnect the eels from Yozen's hand first, and he would bleed to death. But go if you are willing.
Yozan, are you going to bleed to death if those eels are disconnected from your hand? Yozan just looks at him and just kind of very grimly nods as if he's like losing his patience. Well, we have medical supplies here, so you can stay for a bit longer if you'd like, but we'll be transferring him to, reconstruction, and we'll get that. He looks over at the chunk of Yozan that's by the elevator. We'll just have to get that reattached. In fact, he kind of takes out his own music and fumbles around with it, and then calls a number. Bastard 1842. Could you just come down here with a bucket of ice? Yeah, thank you. And then he hangs up. Blue is fucked up. You got a significant consequence, so you'll just probably have that for the rest of the session, but I wouldn't worry too much about it.
She's got holes through her body.
Yeah, she's all yeah, she got real messed up.
Yeah, I'll start trying to fix that some as well.
How do I have to put anything in the consequences section?
Yeah, you just under your most severe consequence, so that your severe consequence, you just put perforated.
I would like it if you left us with a teddy bear to get back to this tower if we wanted. I know that it's not going to be a permanent thing, and you could probably unlink it as soon as possible, but a gesture of goodwill.
An instant teleport to Japan? Well, almost instant. Sure, I can arrange that. Doesn't even have to be a teddy bear. Could be, well, what are you into? Shrines, bells, creepy drowned girls. We have old man hanging. We have a cat. We have like he just kind of like goes down a list on his music. Let's see here.
Teddy bear's fine.
Haunted painting.
Does it come here or to Japan?
Oh, well, I could set up any of them, really. Of course, the conditions under which you would travel would be different, but you can set up... Oh, Eve holds up a finger. If this was a video game, it would be a fast travel option, right? I can set up fast travel to both for your adventuring party. He kind of does air quotes as he says that. This is like that game, Last Legend. Have any of you played those games? The Last Legend franchise? Oh, they're so much fun. My favorite is Last Legend 7. Now, that's the one where a spiky-haired protagonist by the name of... Oh, what was it? Jetstream or something like that goes on a magical adventure with his friends through the ghettos and slums.
What?
I'm not surprised you play video games.
Well, trust me, just play the Last Legend franchise. You'll understand. I recommend kind of all of them, but you don't have to go through in sequential order.
I do not usually play games, but I can set one of my brains aside for such a thing.
Good. Man, nobody plays those anymore. Maybe it's because they haven't been released for 50 years.
50 years?
They're vintage. What do you want?
Okay.
I will observe human culture.
Well,
You haven't been?
I have been attempting. There is much history, and they act so oddly.
I mean, have you met any of the other merfolk? We're not weird.
I have less trouble understanding those from the deep sea, but that is because only their viciousness is unmatched, and I find compromise strange.
Look, we have to get our story straight. We came to Japan, helped out Dorobo. We had a good time. Easy enough.
Works for me.
great.
Yeah.
Sonny, keep that portal to this place open and things will be easy for both of us.
Okay. You'll just have to leave behind the files that you recorded about those two particular matters and kind of sign an NDA about anything involving Dorobo, under certain terms and conditions, of course. And That is it. You'll have our resources, you'll have our cooperation, and we'll all be friends for a bright new future of humanity that is. Oh, and of course for Mermanity. I'm not quite sure how that works.
That sounds awful. Maybe
You sure?
Maybe workshop it a little bit.
For the good of Mermanity, I'll try to come up with a better term.
Mermanity's fine.
All you need to do is, well, over here, he walks over to Saudades' desk and pulls out a stack of papers. I'll just need you to sign and initial and put your thumbprint, and then you will be able to assume ownership and transfer it to whoever it is that you signed underneath. He kind of puts that on the desk and organizes it in a nice, neat stack.
And no curses.
Oh, none on these. No, you're fine. These are made in I don't know, somewhere else.
Yeah,
New Zealand,
okay.
I think.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's get all this paperwork done. That's why we came here, right?
Okay. Well, if you give me a gaze roll, I guess whoever Mike, you're going to be the one who signs it. So, okay, you can tell from the contract, it is in fact basically just cover your ass kind of contract about transferring liabilities, ownership, anything that you're owed personally. It does say that you have a small stipend to cover any damages that may be accrued during the transfer of power, as well as sort of a minor note about the ability to veto certain corporate actions within a year, but it doesn't seem to be anything major. Just mostly on things like how they handle transfers regarding your corporation, which you don't have. Um, there are also notes about pharmaceutical confidentiality and a few about kind of foreign involvement and your liabilities regarding foreign governments.
Fun.
Why not just make us employees?
Employees of the Dorobo group?
I think that would be a conflict of interest being police. And Mikey's like reading the paperwork and like signing it and initialing and everything as he goes.
Yes, even I would only be part-time.
We'll
Well, I mean,
consider
they could take.
hiring. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they could bring you on as like a contractor for the work you do as an Aqua member for the specific reasons. And again, Mikey's just like he's filling it out. He's not even looking away. He's just working.
Okay. Well, once you finish filling it out, Sonny just kind of like nods along and then smiles. All right. And then he snaps a picture of it with his Zuzik and just watches the upload transfer kind of sequence as it's happening. It's a bar that's filling. Just says filing paperwork with a small animated folder that's running across the screen over and over on a loop. It's like little arms and legs. You know, you would think all this time and progress that humanity's made, this would be faster.
Nope.
I mean, if you had like a scanner, I guess you could scan it in, be a little quicker.
You know, it's funny you mention that. We had a guy that was involved in some of our tech stuff. Something happened to him when he was over in Japan. Morio actually lost a bunch of files. Not sure what happened to that guy. Haven't really been able to get in touch with him. He's an older employee. I don't know. Somebody we contracted out do tech stuff.
And Morio, huh? Must be a nice guy.
Yeah, he was actually pretty close to retirement. It's just kind of he had to do one task and, well, failed at it. So we're gonna have to do a review of our contract with him.
Oh well. I mean, you always find someone better.
Oh, he's on his way out. Older guy anyway. Probably just wants to retire. Got beat up a little, I heard. Probably just some local thugs.
Yeah, probably.
It's unfortunate that they're going after the elderly like that.
Well, if you guys are done here, we should be on our way.
Yes, you should. Do you want to speed things up?
I mean, yeah, I feel like we're just kind of waiting for the paperwork and for whatever weird cursed way we're getting back home.
Oh, you're going to do this tag thing.
He kind of points at Blue. And then at Icepeak. And then at each one of you in succession. He seems to be counting. Let's see. Yep. Well, This is gonna be weird. And you just watch as he says weird. He just says weird as the room begins to contract around you, like just slowly drag inwards, and it looks like things are moving at a blur. You are moving up, down, left, right, like up through an elevator, up through all the floors, each one of them, walking through. You see, just as a brief flash, you're in the elevator, and everything is like sped up. It's like almost times 5 speed. There's a fat little boy with long arms who's like just walking around the elevator, poking you with a stick, and then scratching his head, and then walking out. Eventually, you get up to the roof. There is a plane waiting for you. I just hear you get into the plane. You see that Joni is inside. She just is talking to all of you. It's just all clipped very fast, until finally time begins to resume its normal flow when you are landing at the Stella Maris Airport. Yes, Joni's there. She's like sitting next to you as you're landing. She's just reading a magazine. For all of you, time moved at such a rapid pace that it's like you just got fast forwarded. That's what that feels like. Just real quick. You remember everything that happened along the way. You remember like all the conversations. You remember like just generally walking up and down, like pointing at things, like talking about what you're going to do when you get back to Guam. But for your larger, greater perception, your ability to like kind of understand the world outside of your heads, your ability to crunch numbers, time, that sort of thing, you know just what happened here. Time was just like rapidly sped up. As you're landing, Joni just says, "Oh, I think I'm glad I'm back. You guys all seem jet lagged or something."
Yeah, sure. Does Enya have a teddy bear?
Yeah.
Yeah, planes are weird.
It's just been a long day is all.
Joni just kind of nods. Well, that's good. I mean, I'm still going to apply for that job like I said I would. Y'all should probably get some sleep or something. I don't know how you guys handle all that, because I heard some of y'all don't even sleep weeks at a time. She just kind of like shrugs and flips through the magazine that she's reading.
I
Oh.
sleep in shifts.
She stares at you.
Yeah, it's hard. They don't have psychological services for our kind, so we just have to figure it out, you know? And yeah, apply away. We have spaces.
Okay, I will. Thank you. It's weird though. Just goes back to flipping through the magazine. Sonny seemed all kinds of pleased with himself about something. I don't like that guy. He's kind of creepy. Just keeps flipping through the magazine. Honestly, I would have beaten the tar out of him if y'all weren't there. So I guess, he should probably thank you for the fact that his tar is still inside his body. I mean,
There's tar inside his body?
it's a figure of speech.
How do you find him creepy?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. She just kind of motions to Enya.
Enya's like up on her feet. Sorry, it's she's rubbing her face and sitting back down with the teddy bear in her lap.
I find I do not find many things creepy, and I have seen your real form, Enya.
To be fair, eels had kind of...
It's true, eels are pretty gross. Johnny nods.
Yes.
Kind of disgusting and slippery.
Yes, correct. Very, very gross. Very slithery.
She's just nodding and agreeing, but she's smiling about it. Yeah.
Johnny just shudders at the thought.
Hundreds of them squirming inside of my coat.
Stop it! She just hides her face behind her magazine. Gross. I hate it. I hate every second of this.
Icepeak, please don't continue the descriptions. No, continue the description. You're eating. Please.
Some of them hungry.
I have to use the bathroom. Joni just throws down her magazine and sprints for the back of the plane.
Was it something I said?
Yes.
But I am hungry. It's been a while since I ate from hell.
We haven't been a while. We haven't been to Plastic Beach. I wonder what their special is today. You can come along, Icepeak.
I do not think they serve what I need. She looks uncomfortable for once.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, their specials really do vary.
So you guys, you have time to kind of recoup, rest a little before you head back to the office, back to the station. I'll say that yeah, you could check out Plastic Beach. We're going to take a break here shortly. When we get back, we'll do some rolls to figure out what happened in Stella Maris while you were gone. Blue, do you want to at all investigate what was on the thumb drive?
Yes, I want her to kind of do that on her own though, in secret,
Okay.
before she decides what to do with it.
So you want to check out contents. You do that like at your apartment or something?
Yeah, I'll have her do it at her apartment.
Okay. It is a series of video files, surveillance footage, and it looks like interview footage taken. Well, someone says interview taken on this date and that date. Looks like it was about, we'll say, almost a month ago, maybe a bit more. That's where all these files are from. So you can check out the surveillance footage, or you can check out the interview files. Which one would you like to watch? Obviously, both of them are available, but it's just whichever one you want to watch first.
Yeah, she'll listen to the interviews first.
Okay. They seem to be video interviews taken with a person in a white room. The voice that is kind of performing the interview sounds like Sunny's. And it's talking to a woman who has her hair covering her face. She seems to be asking questions. Okay, is this thing on? Okay, Miss Bull, what is your experience so far taking the drug? Any weird side effects? Any interesting things that you've been seeing in your vision? The woman seems agitated. She doesn't really respond much other than to say, I don't know what you are doing here in Guam. What you need all this for? So how much, like, can we just, like, I just need another prescription filled or whatever. The voice says, yeah, of course, just, we can get to that. But first we need to know what it is that you saw. Lines, signals, traces, anything. This is important research, you know. If this goes well, maybe we can expand this operation even. She kind of like looks up. Saw something like a beach, something nearby. The interviewer, just, you can hear him writing something down. Okay, that's good. Great, thank you. Appreciate it. We'll make sure that you get your prescription filled before you leave. Don't worry. As for anything having to do with the Valentine clan or anybody that you might be involved with there, I would say try to stay away from that for now. They are just sticking their nose somewhere it doesn't need to be. You're free to go whenever you want. That is kind of the end of the interview file. Do you want to watch the surveillance footage as well? I would assume so.
Yeah, sorry, I was just finishing notes. Yes.
The surveillance footage shows two men. No, it's actually four men standing on a beach. They are kind of overlooking an operation involving some excavation and just digging. It looks like mass earth moving. A woman running over towards them and yelling. And then two of the men standing side by side look at her and then begin arguing with the other men about what this all is. You can hear on the tape the woman screaming, I'll tell them everything. And then the two men who are standing beside her look at her, and she just splits in half in just an instant before she can even transform into her true merman battle hybrid form. She's just cut in half. They look back at someone else who's there who just sheathes their sword and begin yelling at him. And then he just like kind of walks away after spitting off to the side. And then they look back at the body and then look at one another and then look at the fourth man who's there and begin just pleading with him. The fourth man holds up his hands and then runs after whoever that guy was that walked off. If you rewind and watch the tape, you can see the third man, his hand quickly moved away from his hip, drawing something, and then there's like just a split line, and then he moves his hand back to his hip. In classical samurai fashion, he just drew, slashed, and resheathed like in the blink of an eye. The men on the tape are wearing just looks like black suits, nothing identifying, so it's hard to say who they are. But you can sort of tell because you've now met Yozan and Sunny. Those are the two that were arguing with the woman, or just trying to argue with the man. It could be that they're the ones who killed her, but it's hard to say because just judging by where they were standing and what they were doing, that they were surprised when she got split in half. You do have evidence now. So on the thumb drive, you have evidence that perhaps Dorobo Group or the Valentine clan or anybody else that may be involved, because Dorobo's already said they have connections with the Valentines. The two other men, or at least one of them, was definitely a samurai, and obviously the new chairman of Dorobo Group might have been witness to an actual murder. So you have that now in your custody. And now you have to decide, is it going to be handed over to your criminal contact, or are you going to cause trouble for yourself and give it to your friends who are investigating your new, very new brand business partner, the Dorobo Group? That's up to you. You have to decide. Don't let anyone bully you into making a decision one way or the other. You decide on your own. Towner can't just beat you up and take it. You can't, no matter how big and strong he is.
The hell he can't.
Okay, roll to beat her up and take it.
We don't know that she has it, so we're just beating her up
Yeah.
because.
Oh no. Oh no.
Damn, Towner.
All of those. All of them.
It's a feeding frenzy. Blue, do you hand that thumb drive over to Rascal when you come back finally? Because he's going to know that you're back.
I'm gonna say she doesn't do it immediately, no. And honestly, I think she would tell just the A.Q.U.A unit in private about it,
Inform
about
them
what
of
she
it.
saw,
Okay.
because she cared about that case.
You're not going to reveal how you got that or why you got that or anything, just that you got it, I guess.
Maybe she'll make up that she found it in the Dorobo headquarters.
So will you show it to, like, show them the contents, I guess?
Yes.
In that case, how do your characters then react to finding out that Sunny was involved? He seems to be involved with ozone, the distribution of ozone in your city, and with the death of a case you investigated, the very first case you investigated in this game.
And you would say, it's already a open and closed case, right? We can't jeopardize Sunny. Just keep it under your hat.
Icepeak slowly raises an eyebrow at her.
What?
I did not expect such of you.
We already made the decision we did, so I'm just following through.
The wrong woman is in jail.
So what do you think, Icepeak?
Well, I expected the ozone to be correct, and hence why I wanted to look into their labs. But I imagine it will take a bit longer to decipher who exactly killed Heather Bull. We just know it is not who is in jail currently. Thus, this is simply an open case.
Mikey is there watching, right?
Yeah, I assume if we're back, then he's around.
Mikey, you're the only person who can put two and two together on this. One of the faces of the men there's Sunny, there's Yozan, and there's two other men you don't really recognize entirely, except for one of them, the one who drew his sword, is the same one from the picture that you saw briefly.
That got ripped apart.
Yeah, the part that was cut out.
And I only know them from that picture and from now the video.
Correct.
Can I ask what that person looks like?
He's an older man, kind of, we'll say, a bit of a darker complexion, black hair, black beard, gray streak in beard. At least now he has a beard. He didn't have a beard back then. Kind of large build. I could be mistaken. You guys didn't take off Elder Reyes' mask, did you?
No, we did not.
No?
Yep, you didn't. Okay. Funny fact that I only realized after Reyes died, Elder Reyes died. He'll probably be resurrected because he died by a curse in Japan.
Was it a
Oh, yeah,
curse?
technically.
Yep,
We weren't sure, but we still don't know that, so.
he's still out there somewhere sniping away.
Well, good for him.
Well, if you had removed, since I mentioned it, I might as well. If you had removed his mask, you would have seen that there is a resemblance, but you didn't get a look. So, haha, meta knowledge.
Cursed with the burden of knowledge.
Yeah, the burden of meta knowledge. Yeah, this is a pain in the ass. However, Elder Reyes did rant about Dorobo group corrupting his children. So if you ever run into a Valentine samurai with the last name Reyes, you could probably put 2 and 2 together.
Anyway, Blue, we can't use that as evidence anyway.
I mean, I was thinking if we ever needed to, we could use it as leverage.
Leverage?
Woohoo! There are several people this could leverage.
I mean, with Sunny.
Dorobo has lawyers. Where did you find this anyway?
Oh, I found it in Saudades' desk.
You just took it?
Yeah, I figured it could be useful.
You know we were supposed to leave behind all files. We did sign something.
Oh, that was before we signed.
Likely unlawful evidence collection. But it was the scene of a crime. But it might be our crime. It's probably best we do not mention we have this.
We never reported it as a scene of the crime, so we don't have that. And is just gonna look down back at her desk and go back to what she was doing.
All right, Blue, how long does it take you to turn over that thumb drive, would you say? Like, from the moment you arrive, like, is it a day, or 2, 3 day? How long do you wait?
She'd hand it over the next day.
Okay. Before you hand it over, just deliver to your apartment is a shipment of 1 fresh fish, filleted and gutted, left without a note, no sign or slip or receipt. Just 1 fresh fish on ice, gutted, cleanly. That's it. But if you turn over the thumb drive, you won't get any more fresh fish in the mail. Some people would say that they like fresh fish delivered to them every day, but I think in your case, you probably know better. It is a tasty fish, of course.
At first, I was thinking, oh, that's a nice favor.
I mean, we did talk to that bastard that literally gave us mammoth meat, so unsurprised there's food deliveries now.
Yeah, I mean, after she shows her team, she's gonna hand it over the day after that.
Rumor Rascal will receive it personally and ask you if you showed it to anyone.
No, I didn't even look at it myself.
Give me a blinded roll against a passive difficulty of 4. Do you want to fate point that?
Yes.
If you fate point it in this particular instance, you'll be rolling gamble instead, because now you're gambling that he is going to. Oh, just fate point. Re-roll it first. Re-roll gamble, and we'll see. Your survival is on the line, so you get your bonus. You tell him that no one else has seen it. At first, he, as you can see, is just drawing a knife from behind his back, and then he just holds it there for a second. And says, "Nah, you wouldn't be that. You wouldn't be that dumb." He just takes his hand away from the knife. Yeah, you wouldn't risk your life or anything like that, would you? I know you, Blue. You don't do that shit.
No, why would I?
Yeah, just throw your whole life away. Whatever dumbass cop work. It's all right. It's all right. Now, don't worry about it. He takes the knife out anyway, and then he says, "Like, you see, this is actually a knife. I just got this knife, and I've been waiting to." And then he puts it away. It's a pretty good knife.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
You think he takes the knife out again and holds it really close to your eye? Really? Did you get to see that there's like on the? It's actually made from coral steel. Look at that, straight from Atlantis. You can actually see he's not lying. It's got like the waves along it, like in the blade, like Damascus steel. It's got that kind of like groove in it. Give me a hard-boiled roll.
Okay.
To see if you flinch or sweat. Because coral steel. Oh, there's like 1 bead of sweat. He just when he sees that, he feels reassured though. He actually says, I'm just messing with you, fuck. And then he puts the knife away. Just a knife. Calm down. Not like I could just, gut you with it or nothing. That would be really intricate work that like a sushi chef could do or some shit. Speaking of which, you might want to watch out for some of that because there's been more reports. You know, and then he draws his finger down from his scalp all the way to his crotch. You know, people doing that to your folks. So I don't know much about it, but if I find out anything, maybe I'll give you a heads up for some favors or whatever. It's nasty though. I don't know who's doing that shit. You wouldn't catch me dead eating any. I don't even want to kiss any of you motherfuckers. Gross. Ugh. Like kissing Flipper.
Blade just nods and takes a drag of her cigarette.
It's getting a little rough out there. I don't think I need to tell you this, but there's some like nasty ass motherfuckers in your police department.
Oh yeah? Like who?
Other than you? Yeah, just a couple boys doing some shit that I ain't seen since the history books. You know, some of them burning one of y'all alive somewhere in the fucking down in the trenches. You probably get a report about it. They were smoking some kind of fish. All I'm saying is watch your ass, girl.
Like mer people or
Yeah, mer people, cops burned a mer person alive.
Interesting.
See, that's the fucked up thing about it. They know that y'all regenerate well, so they were like, we could do this for a while, and they did it for a while. Eventually, and this is a funny fact. Apparently, though y'all are very resilient, I'm gonna pretend I didn't know this. You can actually just force a person to just give up on life, like one of your mer people. They just give up. They stop regenerating. They lose the will, and eventually, that's it. So, I guess that boy got tired of getting burned eventually and just took his exit. Just saying, when you're dealing with those types of people, normally you expect them to be rolling with, Samurai Clan or maybe some of our boys, but the police force, ooh, that's dark.
And
You
they
might
just
actually,
Go ahead.
well, you just might be not the most corrupt cop on your force, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah. So they're just doing this to any mer people, just random, or what do you?
I have no idea. I mean, rumor is that the guy that got might have been a Dagonite contact or some shit like that. But personally, I think they just did it for fun. Nobody really just burns people alive unless they're trying to send a message or they have a personal grudge. And in this case, I'm thinking it was probably to send a message or something. Not that I really care that much, honestly. It's just I don't like cops too much. You understand?
Yeah, I get it. I don't either.
He just he laughs. All right, get the fuck out of here before I get mad.
All right, see ya.
Yeah, you can hear him actually. You can hear him as you're leaving, laughing, and then going, "Wait, what the fuck was I mad about before?" Oh yeah, and he just starts like rambling at somebody else in the room and yelling. Very, very much the mood swing. You're good with Rumor Rascal for now, but he does offer if you want information on certain things involving corruption in the police force, he can provide it at a cost, usually a favor. You know that's usually how it works. With your delivery of the thumb drive to him, and the fact that he believes that you haven't shown anyone else the thumb drive, you're technically in the clear with him, so to speak. So he doesn't exactly have the ability to call on you to do anything that he needs unless he offers something in return. So you're sort of good with Rumor right now. Apparently, he really needed that thumb drive.
All right.
Let's take a moment to see what happened in the week that you were gone. The Mafia, now that it has the thumb drive, has one more point. Dorobo Group also has one more point than it did before because it has cleaned out some of its problems. And finally, when you guys return, you find that the police force is a little bit more organized, a little bit more professional and efficient. In the simple week that you've been gone, they've cleared cases at twice the speed that they normally have. They are, how do I say this, suspiciously fast at solving crime now. They no longer suffer from the fight the power stunt, where they have to roll against the corruption level of the city, because I think you could probably put two and two together on why. For now, so when they are rolling to, for example, deal with the Dagonites in the city, oh Jesus, well, surprisingly, even though they've gotten a hold on some of the crime, the Daganites actually are able to give them a challenge. The way that this works is there are cops who, like one or two at least, who just have gone missing. Nobody knows what happened to them. The rumor is they went out somewhere late at night, tried to do something without calling it in or letting anyone else know, or even saying that they were doing something else. Kind of the telltale signs that somebody is somewhere they're not supposed to be. And then they just don't show up for work ever again. So they have tried to run a few corrupt undercover, quote, and I'm doing air quote, operations, trying to raid Daganites or otherwise shake them down. And the Daganites have actually, wherever they are, just ambushed these guys, probably due to their arrogance and their kind of fervor, able to lure them and basically beat the shit out of them. So they're still powerful, sure, but the Daganites actually move up a point rank because they've taken out some of the opposition to them just by dealing with the cops. Everyone else has been afraid of them. The Valentine clan roll against the police now next. And the police are able to actually like control and contain Valentine clan like criminal operations for the time being, giving them still some authority. Good for them. Jaguar clan and Daganites. Wow. So your friends in the Jaguar clan, rallied by the news of what they have heard from rumors in Morio about the fate of their comrades who have gone missing, and in particular, the fate of one Elder Reyes, they've been emboldened to actually assist against the Daganites, who they've heard were involved in the fall of their Japanese brothers, or their brothers in Japan, their brothers and sisters. They are able to push back against the Daganites, but they can't make very strong leeway against them. In which case, but it doesn't matter because they're still emboldened, even though they're not a major presence in the city. They are one that is strong enough to add some resistance. And one last roll. The Mr. Clan has investigated rumors of a strange hypnotic pop star that seems to have risen in prominence. Although two of their members risked life and limb to find out the truth behind Poppy and her clan of influence, they ultimately weren't able to find out much. Their memories were wiped, and they are safe and sound, but they're left with a sort of scar on their psyche. Whenever they hear Poppy's music on the radio, they flinch. Sometimes they just switch it off immediately. They are afraid of her. Mr. Clan now has it filed away that Poppy is something, but they're not sure what. In terms of this, if anyone were to find out that she is a crown, it could probably mean like a lot of trouble for your city as a whole, because it means that they'll know that a crown is there. You just took the crown down technically, but that was the one who was sick. Taking on Poppy may be a different thing entirely. However, it is worth noting her forces are not necessarily aligned with the Daganites for a good reason. And that is the state of the city as it stands. The police have grown more efficient, but have clashed against the Daganites and lost. There have been at least one that you know of now, crime against your local merman population that seems to be rumored to be police action. And you know that the Jaguar clan is very active now. They've heard about what you guys did in Japan or what happened, and they are more emboldened by it. So that is what you have going on in the city so far. Nothing's on fire technically. Actually, there is something on fire. There are also rumors within the police force of a they're not sure what the hell this is. There seems to be, well, the chain of events is as follows. Somebody managed to get a police statute book, and they have just been going down the list of all misdemeanors listed in it and committing them one by one in view of police forces or cameras. They've just been breaking them all one by one. And this is a good time to introduce a member of the Stella Marie's police force that is unique to Guam in this setting. You have a department within the police force called I believe they're called the Mannerette force. The Mannerette force is they're a historical kind of public etiquette enforcement wing of the police. They want you to be polite. They have full authority. First of all, they wear light blue outfits, so they look very different from cops, but they still wear a police outfit. It's just light blue, almost powder blue. They wear white gloves, and they make sure that people in public are being polite. If you're not being polite, they have full authority to slap you in the face. They will just slap you right in your face. So if you mouth off, use profanity in front of them, they will slap you in the face. If you use it again, they'll fine you. If you use it a third time, they consider that to be assault, and they will arrest you. Yes, this is a Guam thing, and it actually dates back before anything having to do with the moon. It's not a thing in real life, guys. Don't worry. It's a thing that dates back to when there were political problems with the breakoff of Guam from the United States and the formation of the Seven Nation Army. A lot of foreign investors and political parties that wanted to visit and cause whatever trouble in Guam before the rise of Atlantis were often rude to the natives of the city. Or not just the city, but the entire island. They were pushy, they were loud, they were entitled. And so at some point, they decided to implement a public etiquette department, which was the Mannerettes. And the Mannerettes did exactly what I'm telling you they do. That's what they're known for. It's like an old institution. There's not many of them. Like on the Stella Maris police force, there's maybe like 5 or 6 that are usually out on patrol at any given time. And in terms of authority, they're about at the same one as like a meter maid kind of, or desk jockey. They don't have real authority, but Mannerettes have in the past slapped samurai in the face and walked away alive. Like they can do that. Like it's kind of accepted that if you see a Mannerette, you just kind of act polite for a moment and let it go, because you just don't want to. They're just usually, sometimes they're old ladies, sometimes they're just stuck up people. It's just not worth it. Like getting into a fight or a death match with these people. Just let them like think that they're tough, and then they'll walk away and tell people about how they're making the city like a more polite place. That's usually what happens. However, the reason I bring this up is because recently 2 of your Mannerettes have quit upon encounters with somebody they've called entirely unruly and a sign of the times. Your police department will go out to recruit more Mannerettes to replace them. Don't worry. But the figure that they describe is someone wearing full head bandages and a red suit who stumbles, stutters, mumbles, and then does the most obscene crime for seemingly no reason. They call this person a complete just blasphemy to all manners, all things etiquette. Whoever he is the rudest person that they've ever met, and they just couldn't cope, so they quit. These are also people usually who are near retirement age, so it's like, yeah, them quitting isn't actually a surprise either. But that is what you get. You're getting reports in about it. Just seems to be a troublemaker, but of minor crime, and nothing really, super violent, or even that much damage to property. Like the most damage that this person caused was they took someone's open and close sign and then glued closed to the other side of it and put it back so that whenever the person went to go flip it around, it just said closed on both sides. Apparently this was just inconvenient and cost around, we'll say $10 maybe to replace. Maybe less, and you can just like fix that pretty cheap. Either way, they filed it as a loss. You're wondering who Abel is. Abel is a chaotic individual who was involved in the last campaign. He is probably, God, who knows how old he is at this point. He's human, but not fully sensical. Yeah, he was a chaotic individual that was involved with kind of the formation of the moon's setting and got thrown out of reality in a way. So he doesn't play by the rules anymore and just causes problems wherever he is. But he's also entirely based off of The Weeknd from like his music videos where he just runs around with a broken nose, causing trouble, being drunk, crashing cars. Like that's who he is. He is just The Weeknd from those videos. Hence why he is also now wrapped in full face bandages. Had to get plastic surgery as soon as he got out. Just a few last notes before we get to the business of what you guys will do next. That microwave where you had the demon locked in, it's been opened. That thing is out.
Yeah, Mikey, I guess coming back to that, would be upset and like running around. I assume that the inside of the evidence locker or like has cameras, it would be ridiculous
Yeah.
otherwise, because you could just tamper all you want.
Mm-hmm.
I go back and I see what happened. Did it break out?
Just a strange continuous loop that doesn't show anything. One moment, normal, everything normal. Next moment, microwave open. Somebody, you don't even need to roll to this. Somebody edited the footage. Judging by the fact that you were dealing with an entirely more corrupt police force, it's probably not hard to determine that somebody inside of the department saw this thing and might have decided they wanted to use it or free it.
Well, Mikey's upset now.
There's also additional news. While there is an increase in police closing cases, there's also a very big uptick in missing persons. The number of missing people has increased significantly in the past week by a lot.
Shit just falls apart when we're not here.
Yeah, no,
We really are
police force
the
doing well.
You're the glue that holds the city together, and we don't get the recognition for it.
I'm pretty sure this city is just slowly sinking in troubles, and we're just doing our best to, well, we breathe underwater, but keep the humans afloat.
Yeah, those poor humans.
Oh.
Speaking of humans, this is where we're going to decide sort of the stuff that we could draw the session to a close here shortly. But I want you guys to decide kind of like what tact you want to take with the information you've got / like what you're currently dealing with. So what you have right now are Dagonite forces are getting stronger. Poppy is possibly on the verge of being found out, but the Mr. Clan hasn't quite connected the dots yet on what she is. But they know she's weird. You also have missing people because of this demon photo. And you have information on the Santana cells, which, brief amount of research, if you haven't looked into it, though I'm sure at least Icepeak would know, is a big, big problem for humanity at the moment. It's like a big, big issue that is cutting down on just the birth rate. And also, conversely, Santana cells actually cut down on hereditary diseases and things like cancer. Those problems are already like pretty treatable by these standards in the future, but like basically it's making people live longer but have less kids. But it does nothing for mental conditions such as Alzheimer's or dementia. Not the population, the birth rate. There is a difference. And it's making people live longer, so it's not even reflected necessarily in the population numbers yet. But that is a huge amount. Yes, the 40% reduction is
We're
massive.
all elves now.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You're elves, but once you get past natural birth lifespan for people, the chance of getting things like dementia and Alzheimer's, they go up dramatically for people that have like Santana cells in their system. It's turning everyone into old, infirm people.
Sunny did tell us to tell people about that, right?
He said that yes, the world would probably want to know about that. You have a few options of what you can do with that information. We can get to it, but you may have some ideas as well. One thing is, you know that on the island of Guam, there is a guy who's kind of considered a quack named Dr. Rob Tom, who is an expert in Santana cells. Nobody really believes him about any of it. Santana cells themselves are seen as sort of like semi-conspiracy theory. Nobody's like really quite sure that they exist because they haven't been actually identified. So you have a sample of the Santana cells Icepeak, and you have now information from the Dorobo group about Santana cells. I'll let you actually see if you can make your own connection about them by way of an experiment roll. We'll just see how high you roll.
Okay.
Oof.
Ah,
You want to do you have fate points to spend?
I don't, though.
Okay. Let's look at your sheet. I'm going to try to use compels more often. You need to feed off the living. Knowing that what you know about Santana cells, they make life more difficult for someone like you, because if push comes to shove, and this is really a kind of like extinction level threat to humanity, you're not quite sure what you'll do without all of that delicious blood. So you can
What will
make...
I live through if all the cute things are gone?
Yeah.
My puppies. Yeah.
Oh, you have woolly mammoth cells that Dr. Rob Tom wants. You can, we'll say, get a fate point back so that you can re-roll your experiment roll on this, but you will have to do something risky or complicating for your situation here. Something that makes it a bit more complex of a system. So we'll say you are compelled to use a resource for like unique to the scientific community that you may have access to because of your police credentials. But there is a chance, and if you accept this, I mean, you kind of have to accept this, I guess, because you have no fate points.
Yeah.
There's a chance that other people could get this information, whatever it is that you discover.
Okay.
So, and it could potentially not be good.
I understand.
So do you accept? I guess you have no choice. But I will ask you if you accept that like risk.
Yes. No. Icepeak is probably cackling and doing like experiments in the basement. It's noticeable.
Okay. Give me a roll. Another experiment roll. A 2. Much better. You discover something unique. The signatures of what you might believe to be Santana cells based off the research, samples that you have, and your own understanding of merman biology tell you that these cells are strikingly similar to your own cells as a mer person. Or in other words, they have either a common ancestor or otherwise a common source. That is to say, almost like the merman species is choking humanity out of existence. And even better, because of the resource that you just used, somebody, at least one other person out there in the world somewhere, is going to learn that at the exact same time that you do. And no, it isn't Dr. Rob Tom.
No. The very angry, Nazi, probably. Oh, I don't know.
I hope we get like an off-screen silhouette look at that.
Off-screen silhouette of a person.
Just typing on a computer and the information comes up.
Somewhere, someone else sees that logged in. Very briefly, the lines of code. They can read it, the little different formula, the parameters, and all at once they understand exactly what it is that they're reading. And then they just kind of close their laptop and sit in the dark and think about it, whoever it is.
Ominous.
And that's the end of the session. Hooray!
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
No, it's a perfect stopping point. That's when you
we
throw it.
continue?
Yeah, that's when the arrow comes through.
Yeah. And so we say goodbye to the polite deer, and we enjoy the ending of the session and the closing of the Dorobo case, at least for now. Somewhere in a distant land, amid curse and monster, a deer recognizes that favors have been done and manners have been upheld, and it vows to no one in particular. Yes, the deer would love the Mannerettes, and likewise the Mannerettes would love